Hold on.
It's good morning, everybody. I'm calling today's meeting to order at precisely 9 a.m. on May 9th. Thanks all for attending. Welcoming board members in person and also via video conference. And to the viewing public, thank you for joining us today. Please note this meeting is being videotaped. A link to the video will be posted on the Olympic Authority website following this meeting. And as we start today's items, I'll remind you as always to please speak as clearly as possible and to identify yourselves each time you speak or make a motion. An agenda is included in your board packet, and I want to also thank everybody for attending on relatively short notice. Renee, could you please call the roll to confirm a quorum?
Joe Martens.
Here.
Bill Beanie.
Here.
Cliff Donaldson.
Here.
Frank Cardinal. Jen Holdering. Here. Steve Hunt.
Here.
Betty Little.
Here.
Art Lucy. Diane Monroe. Present. Chris Pushkarsh.
Here.
Joe Zalewski.
Here.
Eleanor Tatum. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Renee. And I will just note for the record that Art Lucy would have been here today, but is attending a memorial service.
It looks like Ellie just joined us as well.
Okay.
Good.
Wait for her to check in.
Yes, I am here.
Excellent.
Now, I am at the location I'm supposed to be at, but I am right outside of the location because I'm having trouble with my internet inside of the location.
Interesting.
Does the camera work? Does the camera work?
Yes, it does, but I'm in my car, just so you know, but I'm at the location, so if anyone comes, I can.
You can open your rear doors?
Yes, I can. So I just wanted to have full disclosure there, but there can be a meeting in my car.
Thank you, Ellie. So the first item for board action on the agenda is the approval of meeting minutes. May I have a motion approving the minutes of our last meeting held on March 28th, 2025?
So moved.
Moved by Diane, seconded by Betty. Any discussion on the board minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions?
Yes, I wasn't here.
And I'll abstain as well.
Okay,
I was absent.
thank you. Okay, the motion carries. 2 abstentions. There's no old business on the agenda, so we're going to move right on into new business. There's one proposed resolution. Could I have a motion to adopt resolution 555, a resolution committing capital and approving agreements relating to the purchase of real property located on 2640 Main Street, Lake Placid, New York?
I will glad that resolution.
Second it.
Moved by Cliff and seconded by Diane. Moved enthusiastically by Cliff. Ashley, would you please provide us some background on the motion?
Thank you. So the property that's currently known as the There and Back Again store that sits right in the roundabout of the Olympic Center has long been on the project list for the Olympic Authority since the renovations were done. My predecessor had some evaluations and some assessments, had been in discussions and negotiations for a while with the owner. We were never able to get to a suitable negotiation on it. Since then, the property has come up on the market. We have been in contact with their representing real estate agent. We did do a update to the appraisal. The market value appraisal came back in. We were waiting on that until we were able to make a formal offer. So the concept that we have for the property would be to take the building down. We would clean it up, make it a green space. We're working together with the Lake Placid Olympic Museum to come up with features, visual features that would honor the heritage of the 2 Olympic Games that have been hosted here, and also open it up, make it a more welcoming center and entrance into the Olympic Center. We're also working in conjunction with the organization that has been working on for a few years on creating a life-size bronze statue of the 1980 Olympic team. That it's a feature of the entire team up on the podium. This would be the prime location for that statue to help honor the Miracle on Ice team and again, be a nod to our heritage. So we've got some initial concepts. Once this is moved forward, we'd be able to put some real designs and some renderings together to support it.
Is that statue being done privately or by a private group or
That's
something?
done by a separate nonprofit. They've been working on the project for a little while, and Bill I don't know how connected you are with it, Bill. You may have some more information on it, but we've been connected with them for a while, trying to help support this.
And they're eager to get something done that's appropriate for the magnitude of the event. So,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions?
I'm curious. Go ahead, Betty.
I was just going to say, I think it's a great idea for promoting more of the activities and just getting people's attention, because when you're driving through there, all of a sudden you're at the Olympic Center. And yeah, there is a billboard, but there's also a lot of traffic and everything else. So it really clears that whole area up. I think that's a good purchase.
I just have a quick question, not about the purchase itself, but about the future of the space. Besides the statue that is being planned, are there going to be other art features that are going to go there?
Yes, we have, again, we don't have full plans. We're waiting to see how this moves forward. The other thing is that every Olympic host city, also through the IOC, can get you may have seen them in other Olympic cities. They are Olympic rings that are very, very large. Because Lake Placid has hosted 2 Olympics where the town is allowed to have 2 of those. The idea would also be to put one of those there and work with the Olympic Museum on some other features. I should have also mentioned too that on the back side of where the property currently sits, we would like to put some ADA compliance parking. That is a challenge that we currently have with a lack of space there. So that would be something that would be done quickly. So depending on the timing of this process, the idea would be to take the building down, fill it in, clean it up before the winter, and put in those parking spaces. It is something that's necessary for our guests. So I should have mentioned that earlier.
My interest is when you come up Main Street and you go by the high school and the Oval, and then all of a sudden there's the big sign and you've already passed the entrance. So I'm assuming that the entrance is going to be more visible and more accessible, because I always find it very, very awkward. I've gone in there once and I didn't know where to go. I mean,
yeah, it's certainly been a challenge from an entrance standpoint. It is confusing. Even if there was large signage behind it, you wouldn't see it until you already passed it. So this certainly helps to open it up, highlight the building more, and allow us to do some nice green space and again, some additional pieces that we'll work with the museum on.
Would there be a driveway created or anything like that, like a round driveway to come right to the doors of the entrance?
So right now there is almost a turnaround right in front of the entrance, so that would remain. So if you were driving in and either accessing the ADA compliance or you were dropping off, you could still do so there. But again, that space is kind of hidden, and it's hard to understand that that's the entrance because you can't see it with the building in front of it. So that would remain, and really the space that the building occupies would become, there'd be some sort of walkway. So if you were walking along the sidewalk, you could cut through it. You could walk through that green space to the entrance, but that driveway behind it would remain.
Ashley, I had a question about the budget. So in the board packet, the budget number included the purchase, but also some sort of, does that include, it didn't seem like it would include full demolition.
So until we have a until we have a full quote on it, we won't know how much that will extend. We do have some, a few years ago, there was a demolition of the Lamy Lodge out at Mount Van Hogenberg. So we had those numbers, depending on where things stand now and environmental hazard testing to see what we find in it. That will dictate exactly the budget of it. But we are, based on those numbers from previous demolition projects and what we think we could do from the parking standpoint, if there are no unforeseen circumstances, we should be able to complete.
In the number that was.
Within the two.
Within,
That was my question, like,
and the caveats are we don't know till we've estimated.
Understood. So two more things. We have a process as an organization for seeking appraisals. Does it involve multiples or do we go through I'm interested in that process. And by the way, I'm glad I'm not trying to buy property.
It's a good question. So the back in 2020, there was an initial appraisal done on the building. It was refreshed in 2021 when there were offers made to purchase the property. We went back to the same company as they already had quite a bit of work done, and we didn't have a lot of time. They did refresh it. That appraisal did change, did increase by 49%.
I was going to say,
But that's the process that we went through on this.
okay.
And they look at several comparatives, particularly in commercial property, and they evaluate it based on the past, I think they did the past 24 months. So they look at other commercial property within the area.
Most of the time I'm focused on the things that are going to be incredibly functional. But for me, the more I've learned about this, the more I think it's really important to create this availability of that center in a way that meets the moment the moments that were created at that center. So I think it's a good investment.
Any other questions?
And your appraisal comes to the point where we can purchase, right? Because we can't be too far above an appraisal. Is that correct?
Yeah,
That's correct.
you want to speak to that?
We're fine. Yes. Yep. We're well within our bounds. Regards. Yep.
Good.
Great.
Can we be sure to have a photo of the old Arena Grill
I was just gonna say that.
in the museum? Because having grown up here, there are many memories. That's all I'm going to say. I was going to see if a filibuster was appropriate or not, but I figured I'd stop at that.
Well, I think that there certainly is sentimental value to the property, and we'll have to find a way to honor that. So
I'm speaking for many, many people, but
Bill, if there's any photographs, I just want to make sure that I'm not in it.
exactly.
I will just echo my support for this acquisition. I think especially since the improvements, but I think from the beginning of the Olympic Center, the presence of the Arena Grill and then the current shop that's there has really been it's been a problem for the Olympic Center and the entryway to it. And, you know, we've obviously spoken to the town leaders support the acquisition. It is in effect going to be a pocket park, but obviously a much nicer gateway to the Olympic Center. And I think, you know, when we have a design that celebrates the history of the place, it'll even be better. So that plus the addition of the ADA compliant parking, I think are really strong arguments. The appraisal was very supportive of the price that was negotiated. And I would note that when Mike was negotiating the property before the appraisals were done and before a real estate firm, the price was much, much higher. So I think the fact that it was listed, they went through a professional real estate agent, brought a sense of rationality to the process, and you know, the price got to the point where we were able to negotiate what I think is a good price, and supported by all of the recent sales. Any other questions or comments? Could I have a vote in favor of the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
It's already been.
We already made it. Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I think the alarm just went off.
I told Joe we had to set times.
The motion carries unanimously. So that concludes today's business. I'll note that our next board meeting is Friday, June 27th at 1 p.m. at the Olympic Jumping Complex. Committee meetings will be conducted in advance, and our preliminary schedule is targeting Wednesday, June 11th. And Renee will get more information to you about that shortly. Is there any other items to discuss?
Just out of curiosity, do we have any big events happening this summer or not yet?
We have some smaller events. So on the 4th of July, we have a ski jumping event that we've hosted the past couple of years. Skate America is returning. So that was just recently announced. And then we have our mountain biking World Cup, which this year will include downhill at Whiteface, in addition to the cross-country event at Mount Ben Hovenberg. And that will be the first weekend of October. So that really will kick off the major events for the year.
Riding downhill on a mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Whiteface.
You need to have a certificate of insanity.
Even to go and watch.
I have a motion to adjourn, please, if there's nothing else.
So moved.
Moved by Ellie, seconded by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. It is 9:16, May 9th, 2025. Thank you.
Yeah.